Okay, we're live for Earthborne Rangers. Obviously, if anyone joins in this live stream, please feel free to ask questions. And I bought this game the other day, just because it was rated as one of the best games of last year. And man, did it not disappoint. I played it a little bit, probably about 2 hours of the game so far, so not a lot. And a lot of people have said very similar things. It reminds me a lot like an LCG. So a bit like Lord of the Rings LCG or Marvel Champions or Arkham Horror, where you've got your cards, your character, effectively. You've got some stats. So you've got awareness, spirit, fitness, and focus. And mine's very much about awareness. I'm also an explorer. I'm an explorer. I'm partway through, so this is 2 hours into it. So we finished the prologue, starting from Ancestors Grove, and we've travelled to Kobo's Market, and we arrived in the Spire, and we finished our first day of 30. So I've just been writing down my campaign. I've done a few things, helped a few people along the way, especially with I was going down the line of helping artists effectively, and it's about exploration. You will get missions and so forth, which are kind of similar, but you don't play a scenario. It's not scenario driven. It's very much about you exploring the world, helping people out. People have likened it to Zelda Breath of the Wild in a way, a game like that. And the art is just phenomenal in it. And it does have that feel about it, where you're building up, you've got your deck with different items and abilities and attribute tests and stuff like that. But as I say, the graphics, and every time I bring a new card up, I'll bring it up towards the screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the art. So I'm an Undaunted Seeker, which is my role of an explorer. You can be, the specialist is the explorer, and I'm the traveller as my background. I think it's quite a common one to go for. But as I say, you choose your stats. You can be completely whatever you want to travel to. And you also choose your cards when you create your deck. Then, as the days go on, you kind of change your deck around, as it were. Now, I actually fatigued myself so much on the first day, I ran out of my deck. So therefore, I didn't get the special kind of boons where you literally camp for the night. But I'm in the Spire, or just outside the Spire, I should say, starting our first day. So, without further ado, let's start our day. So you almost do like a setup again. You draw 6 cards from the deck. So let's have a little look at some of these cards. So this is one of the, I mean, look at the art, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So this is a gear. So it's like things you go out. It's 2 of 5. So you've got like an encumbrance of 5 spots. And then you kind of you can build up from that. Then, just like those LCGs, this is where it has a similar. You put 3 tokens on here to show 3 strides, very similar to Marvel Champions. Then you can exhaust this, use a stride, add 1 to a trail. So that's where the similarities are with LCG play. It's very much like a card-driven LCG. You can also use it to do a test, like an attribute test. Okay, so you have these common tests which are available to you at all times, which are linked to fitness, spirit, focus, and awareness, to each of the 4 attributes. You can traverse, connect, remember, or avoid. I also have an ability when I perform a test. I can dodge a card. It means basically I can forget 1 card, and I'll explain that more as we play it. I've also got versatile. So up on, so I should have noticed this with this, by the way. So this is the cost to play it as an item and then put it out in front of you. You could use it for this symbol to do stuff. So for example, in avoiding some characters, which you exhaust them basically, you might use it as its icon instead of its ability. Versatile. Now the heart's used a lot. The heart's used a lot in this game. Before you commit to it, you can suffer fatigue. I'll talk about fatigue in a bit. If you do, attribute gains all the extra icons on it. Trail mix is another item. It's basically like a healing is the best way, a healing thingy. But you see fatigue equals to the fitness on your energy pool, which is pretty cool. That's really nice as well. Eagle Eye is a moment, so there's moments in the game. So I showed you gears and an attribute. Now we've got a moment, which is a skill. So scout 3 paths, power count, and then draw 1, which I'm probably going to be using definitely in the Spire. The Reverb Locket, another item. This is really nice. So you can basically play this out, put this from your hand underneath it, and then it basically gives you 2 attempts at that, which is nice. And finally, the Boundary Sensor, another piece of gear, which is when you're doing a traverse test. So when you're trying to go to basically do a travel action. So again, very similar to Lord of the Rings, where you have a travel action or phase, you're using that as well. Right, so I've drawn my cards. We're at the Spire, so we can put this away for now. And we've got, you get a rule book and a campaign book. So we've got this here, which talks about the round structures and everything else. But first of all, from the Spire, I've got to get the rest of the decks out. Completely forgot about that. So the weather in day 2, if you look at your campaign, is a perfect day. So we've got a perfect day. Let's put this up here. Perfect. Then you've got this. So just like in Arkham Horror card game, where you've got tokens which give you pluses and bonuses and negatives, you've also got cards in this one. So this is the attribute test modifier deck. And it also has triggers on lots of cards that will trigger to either the yellow, the red, or the blue symbol, just like the blue symbol up on a perfect day. So give those a shuffle. And that's one of our decks. Then we basically turn this over and it tells us how to set up the Spire. So it's a pivotal location rather than just a random one. And we start by reading number 5. Now I've read this before, but so in this book, our entries, we move over to number 5 and it says, Solaro Mako is not in play, so we just read. Rising out of an island in the middle of the Silverfin, the first thing you spot is the landmark that gives the town its name. A massive grey spire at the centre of the island towers over the cottages, workshops and trade halls that make up the rest of the town. And impressive as it is, you know that it is but a protrusion of the ancient archaeology that extends deep into the roots of the valley. So that gives a little bit of flavour about what the Spire is. You've obviously got the river coming through it, and then you've got some different trails going through it. Do not add the Spire set to the deck. Path deck is a separate one. So what we do is we get our Spire cards. So there's 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's going to be our Spire deck. And then we get where we're at. So we actually entered this last time through this area here. Okay, so we go and grab those cards, which are the Lakeshore, which are these ones here. So we got the deck of Lakeshore, and then we give those a good shuffle in. That's it, and then I'm going to draw a path card to start the turn. Now, just to make sure that they are properly shuffled, I normally do this anyway. They've thought about the non-plastics for this, just a point to make out. So it's packaged with no plastics, this game. Well, I say no plastics, no plastic packaging. I'm sure these have got plastic coatings on the card of the cards, or else they'll be useless. And you've got the tokens as well, which have got, well, they're cardboard tokens, but they're going to have like plastic outs, right? But yes, it's very ecologically minded game. Just wanted to point that out in terms of its packaging. Right, lovely. So let's draw our first path card and see what we've got. We've got the Archaeology Threshold. Oh, this looks cool. Look at this. So we now read 58. Enters play. Here we go. So basically, when you come to a thing, it tells you, you read down here and then you go to a particular passage. Most everyone in the valley, and certainly everyone in the Spire, is familiar with the arcology, but most of them think the upper levels that have become the basements and power generation stations of Spire. You head past the water turbines and the enclosed river docks down into a level below the Silverfin. Here, the air is a bit damp, but you find yourself in a brightly lit chamber full of cabinets and pedestals. Artifacts are scattered throughout the space, each with a neat label identifying them. Most seem to be from the Estians. Some seem even older, from the decades before the guide led people to begin the generational projects. Right. So, if we have a little look at this, a few things linked to these cards. So first of all, you've got this. So this is away from. Then you got like 2 layers. You got away from, and you got near to you. Okay, and then you've got the actual towns or whatever it might be you're talking about. With this one, we've got a special action linked to the card. So first of all, this little symbol here is its presence, and that's how much fatigue you will suffer if you try to go beyond that. This is how much hit points, and this is how you pass it. Okay, so if we read what it says, we can brave the gloomy depths beneath the spire to move your character token to this feature. If you fail, suffer 2 fatigue. So it's quite bad, and you need 3 to pass the test. While your activation token is on this card, prevent all fatigue you will suffer from the weather. And then when you clear, so when you choose to clear it, so you don't have to, when you've got your token on here, you don't have to choose to clear it, but when you choose to clear it, we're going to go back to that 58 and see what we've done. It's a feature and a structure, so that they're like keywords that other cards might like link to. So for example, if you do a traverse, you can add passing onto a location or feature equal to effort. Now this one doesn't have it in this particular case, but a lot of them will have a number in here, just like our Spire has here. Now this one's very similar to this one. So it says here, enter, move your thingy to this location and draw 1 card from the Spire deck. When you would draw 1 path card, instead you draw it from the Spire deck. Oh, I've already made an error. Already made an error. Hang on a second. Draw 1 path card. So yeah, that's not out because I've got to keep these separate. This is not done normally. Oops. I've got to make separate decks. So actually, that's not going to come out. So there's the Spire deck, but now I've got to draw a path from this deck instead, from the lakeside. And we got Tidewater Muckets. So this is near to me. It's a being, it's prey, water and food. It has no fatigue. It's got no presence, which is really handy. 2 health. And here we go. If we get 3 of those little mountain symbols on it, we clear this thing. So we can pry open a shell and savor its contents to add 1 to this being and soothe to fatigue. So it's basically like healing food. Amazing art again. Just look at the art. Then you see these are the triggers. So this is going to come down on this section here. No, sorry. Yeah, this will go down on this section here. Let's do it this way. So I'm just going to move this across. Any gear I'll put along here, and then this can be near to, this can be away from, and then we've got this one here. Right. So that is the proper one. So we could do the fitness, or you notice how it's a being. So we can connect with the life around you. So doing the spiritual connection adds that. So if I want to clear this off of here, we can definitely do it. I'm not going to, because I think it's a great thing to just have there and be able to use up those muckets if we want. Muscles they are really, as it were. So we kind of want to do this, right? Where we want to enter. So we have to use fitness and this symbol here, which was looking like exploration, to move our thing to this location and then draw some Spire decks, because we haven't got any missions at the moment. We've got no one with us. It's a new day, so new exploration. So we want to kind of speak to the people in the Spire, go into the Spire, speak to people in the Spire, and then figure out some things that we might want to do around the world of Earthborne. So, with that in mind, we're going to think about our first action. So we've got no fatigued things, so we can just keep the Tidewater Muckets with us. So we want to do a fitness. We got 2 tokens. Now, again, we can use the symbol, this symbol here, to help with this. So I think the very first thing I'm going to do, however, before I do any of this, yeah, 100%, is I'm going to use the reverb locket. So to bring out the reverb locket, it's going to cost me 1 focus. I've got my 1 focus, so I spend that, and this comes out. I then, as it says, when you place gear, attach a moment from a hand. So I'm going to get my eagle eye and attach that to there. Then we get 2 of these generic tokens to basically charge this item, this reverb locket. Right, next. So this is taking up 1 slot. Trail mix shouldn't need the trail mix with the muckets there at the moment. These will go if I move away from the spire, by the way. So this is the kind of mechanic, is once you travel, you kind of discard any things in play. Okay, so I need to get a 2, so I want to guarantee it. So I'm going to spend 2 tokens of fitness, which is what it says there, and I'm going to get rid of, well, that is a trail, so I'm going to get rid of my boundary sensor. So that's 1, 2, 3. So now we draw our card from the attribute, and because we're doing fitness, we actually get an extra one. So we get a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, we get 4, which is easy enough for 2. So we place our little token onto the spire, and we've now entered the spire. We now draw 1 from the spire deck, because now we're on there, we can actually draw it from here, and we see Dace. So, and I'll move these so they get discarded. That goes to my discard pile, which I'm going to put here, and then she comes in here. So Dace is number 59, who's the ambitious shaper. So enters play if you are on remove the reclaimers. I'm not. If you've seen a person fly, no. Otherwise, go to 59.3. As you move along the path, you see a woman in the signature resplendent attire of a shaper, running along the trail, skipping with her arms outstretched. Every few steps, she leaps as high into the air as she can. You call out to her, and she almost falls on her face. She straightens up, face flushed with embarrassment. What is it? You ask her what she's doing, and she glares at you. I'm trying not to fall on my face. Isn't it obvious? So I can basically try to clear her with 3 to find out what she's actually really doing. They've also got an ability on here. Let's have a little look at the card. So she does have 1 presence. However, because she's friendly, I do not take fatigue by going past her. I can ride the wind to take another test after this one. When you perform that test, dodge all path cards. If you fail, test, suffer an injury. So if you want to skip ahead, that's one way you can do it. I'm not going to do that right now, though. So I might speak to her. Definitely will speak to her, I think. We also triggered this. So now we look at this. So now we've passed the test. We now look at this. And it says on this card, so we go from top down, really. If there is an exhausted predator, ready it, exhaust this being. There is an exhausted predator on the board, predator being one of the keywords on top of the cards. That then becomes discarded. Okay, right. I think it's time for us to... Now, we can connect with this person to put... I think that's what we want to do. So we need to use hearts and we need to use spirit. So, before playing this attribute... you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to spend one of these, exhaust this, and then scout 3 paths from path cards and draw 1. Because I'm in the spire, I can do that with this deck here instead of the other deck. So I'm going to scout 3, which makes me look at the first 3. Right, whoa, what have we got here? The Hearty Brew got an inn. Ooh, that's cool. So search the valley set for 1 card and attach it face down to location. After you travel, put the attached card into play. Oh, that's cool. So basically, I can search the set of cards. I can find any person I want who's basically in the tavern. But what's beautiful with this, attach it face down to the location, which is the spire. And then after we travel away from the spire, we can put that card into play where they normally would be discarded out of play. That's nice. We've also got a sculptor. which is pretty cool. Tolin the Sculptor. And we got Eldamora Orlin. Ooh. This is a tough choice. Well, I'm definitely keeping them all on top. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take Morlin. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to put the other two on top. I'm not going to put them underneath. And put that back. And then she comes in. And she is number 60. So let's see what Orlin is about. 60.2. Elder Orlin looks you up and down and snorts gruffly. If you were a piece of wrought carbon, I think I'd stick you back in my forge until you were properly tempered. But you are wearing a ranger cloak, I suppose. What's your business around the spire? So she needs help around the spire itself. So rather than trying to befriend Dace, I think I'm going to go for Elder Morin first. I think that's the way forward. So with that in mind, we are going to attempt to connect with Elder Mora Orlin. So I'm going to use this and 2 spirit. So I'm doing my common test of this at the moment. Whoops. I just want to check something. Yeah, all looking good. So we're doing this connect. So we're currently at 3. I don't think there's anything else I'm doing. No. So let's see what we do. With spirit, we get an extra 1. Nice. We get 4. So we do the resolution of the test first. So that goes discarded. And we get 4, which is more than 3. So we put the progress down. But now we're clearing it. So read 60. Let's see what's happening. So it says on 60, when you clear it, I have not completed Lure Umbra, so 60.4. Mora glances skyward. Spire's a big place, plenty of people need help. But right now, I'm most worried about the giant raptor Umbra. The blighter may fly all over the valley, but she likes perching at the top of the spire, then swooping down to snatch up her prey. Last year, it was old Harley Jempson. I don't want to see it happen again. So we get a choice. We either agree to help, to gain a mission, or we refuse. We are definitely going to agree to help. So what we do is we get the Lure Umbra mission. So we've got all these missions, and we look for Lure Umbra. Lure, there it is. And then we put these back. And we attach that to Orlin, okay? So I'll do it like that. Is that right? Reminder, find and attach. Oh no, sorry. No, this is a mission card, so this is going up here. Can we see that? Yeah. So let's have a little look at a mission card. So it's a side quest. Locate one of the local mega predators by finding prey to lure out. Now we've got prey straight away. When a prey is cleared, set it aside. Arrive at a new location while there are 5 or more total presents on a prey set aside for 1.42. Okay, so that goes up there, and we've got a red trigger. Golden trigger was what we've done. Again, that's not going to trigger for this test. Okay, cool. So move to a new location when there are 5 prey. So I might want to start taking cards from this deck now, actually, to help with that. It doesn't say clear this, so we leave the progress on there to show that we've done this effectively of what we're talking about. Right. That was that action. And we're now helping Elder Orlin seek this creature. Right. I have 3 awareness remaining. So I could exhaust a being. I don't think there's any point. I could try and ride, but there's no point. There's nothing to do there. So I think with the fitness that I've got here that I can't use, I'm going to keep those in there. I think that's going to be the end of my hour. It's an end of a turn, so you can think of it a bit like an hour. So now we move on to what's called the travel and then rest. So I've just been doing this. So now I'm going to rest. You can now travel if you've got at least 4 progress tokens on this, and then you can basically move to a new place that's adjacent. Not going to do that, so then we go straight to refresh. We refresh all cards, so any ones that are exhausted get refreshed. We regain all our energy back, so back to our limit. So 2 of those, and 1 of those. And then we draw a card. And we've got some iron wool boots, which are some more gear. Only 1 slot. Unique, so you can't have 2 of these out. After you play a moment, soothe 1 fatigue. That's nice. That's nice. All right, cool. And that's a round. So now we move on to round 2. First thing is we're going to draw a path card. Now, this is a hard one. I'm kind of tempted to use the spirit to do her as well. And use my fitness, but I want spirit as well. That's quite a nice item to come out. This is a hard one. Right, I've got to draw a card from the deck. I'm going to draw this because I know it's the brewery, and I kind of want to use the brewery. So this comes up here. So again, if we have a little look, we've got a feature, a structure, 57, 6 health, only 1 to basically clear it. Search the value, but I want to do this. This is why I've done it. I want to do this, okay? And that should be relatively easy because it literally just says I've got to get 1 success. So if I use both my spirits, I should be fine for that. Beautiful card. Right, now we take our turns. So, I'm going to use, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my focus. Now I can do a moment from your hand collection. Oh, right. So the ability, I completely missed this. The ability you can do with Elder Orlan, because I was so concentrated in trying to help her out, is to, you can change your deck around with a moment. I don't have a moment in hand, but like that one, you could take that, put that out, and then get something else out. Okay, now that's definitely worth thinking about because over in my deck, from the missions I've done, I've been getting some new stuff. Okay, so I've already taken one of the sketchbooks, but I do have another moment, which is a really powerful moment. I do want those in. So actually, I think I want to do that. So that's focus and that ability. I don't have those abilities. I'm not going to be able to get 3. My focus is pretty terrible. So we're going to need those symbols, these kind of like triangles. So I'm not going to be able to do that now, but I don't think that's a problem. Right, my fitness. I don't mind taking fatigue. Fatigue's fine. I want to do that. So I'm going to spend my spirit. I'm going to spend both spirits to try and share stories with the locals. So we're going for a spirit. And we've got -1. So first of all, we use those 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, so I still pass. Thank God. And we search the valley for any 1 card. So we go to our valley cards, which are these, and I can choose any one from there. Now I've already spoken to him. Swift Pilot, that's cool. The Exile. I don't want a Predator. Quasi I've already spoken to. I found the Umbra. I don't think I'm allowed to just put it into play. I don't think I can do that. I'm going to say, I'm going to be thematic and say it has to be a being. It doesn't make any sense of the Calypso's the main person. Urus Voss. That's a very similar ability. The Fundamentalist. Look at this guy. Whoa. That's cool. And the artist I've already cleared. So I'm going to go back to... I'm thinking I want to do... Prevent 2 Tala from intimidating the wildlife to exhaust this being. Oh. I'm going to do the pilot. So, put those back. This goes face down underneath this. And I'll remember that to do. So that was that action. Oh, I didn't read about it. Sorry. 57. 57. Let's see what's going on. The two-storey inn and tavern is built as a hollow square with rooms opening up onto an open courtyard. Here you see guests sitting in wooden chairs and plates of food and flagons of spirits, most clustered around a flickering bonfire of multicoloured flames. As you move closer, you realise that the fire is actually a cunningly crafted sculpture of shards of amber, crimson and bright ochre kinetic glass. It is lit from beneath, and sparkling reflections dance across the guests' faces, even as they somehow bathe them in a soothing, comforting heat. You hear the murmuring of a dozen different conversations as you walk through the tavern. Calypso once told you that news spread faster in places like a hearty brew than anywhere else in the valley. You imagine that if you needed to find someone's location, asking around here would be a good way to start. Right, okay. I have just realised I've got this, so I'm going to use this now. So I'm going to spend my last action. This is going to be discard, and then we can scout 3 cards. So let's see what we've got. We've got the Carbon Forge. So that's to get gear. Ooh, no, I don't need gear. Well, actually. Yes. But it's focus again. This is a bit better. I've already done the archaeological. I think we'll keep it like that. And then we draw our third guy, which is 61. So really going around our spire here to see what's going on. Tolin Lang, the sculptor. The glow alerts you to Tolin Lang's presence before you actually find him, crouched next to a heavy bag and rounded hemispherical pedestals. Above the pedestal, you see the whirling rainbow mass of sparkling shards of glass. Even as you watch, Tolin reaches into the bag while wearing a heavy glove and hauls out another handful of shards, carefully cast them into the air. You see the brief flash of an otherwise invisible dispenser field, and the shards join in a larger cloud. Tolin thinks for a moment, uses a pole to nudge and push the material into a new form. You've heard of kinetic glass before, but this is the first time you've seen it and used in such a quantity. Tolin looks at you as you approach and waves. He starts chatting with you as he continues to sculpt. So I can ask him about sculpture if I speak to him. So let's have a little look at Tolin Lang's. Again, he's got 1 feature, but he's friendly again. 1 presence, so we don't have to worry about that. 3 to pass. We can distract the local wildlife with Tolin's lifelike kinetic glass sculpture to exhaust a being for every 2 effort. All right, okay, cool, that's good. Don't want to do that. We literally just want to speak to him, so but we need spirit to connect with him, so we're not going to be doing that this turn. I think it's time to bring on the stave. No. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, no. So I'm going to bring the stave on. I'm going to bring the stave on. Oh, by the way, that was that moment used. So, stave. To fit. Are we back on? Looked like we went off there for a bit. Cool. Okay. I think we're back on. I believe. Right, okay, moving on. So now we're going to go on to... so we've got some progress onto there. Now we've got a lot of knowledge, awareness, still. No abilities to do that. Oh, and by the way, I should have... I've completely forgot. There should have been 3 on here. And because we did a refresh, we have to discard 1 from there as the day progresses. Okie dokie. I don't want to exhaust any beings. I mean, I could distract, but there's no point. I'm just going to keep those 2 cards, and that'll do. So that's my next turn. Oh, by the way, was there any blues? Yes. If this test added a thing, no, it did not. If there is an active predator, no, there's not. So that didn't do anything. Completely forgot to do the triggers. But we have finished our round. So we're not going to travel. We ready all cards. Then we gain our energy back. Oh, wait. Before I did that, I just noticed I've got one focus left. I'm going to spend this focus to do a remember standard action. So remember standard action allows us to scout ranger cards equal to effort and then draw a ranger card. So I'm scouting for 1 plus none. So I get to look at 1 and draw it, which I get engaging. Then we trigger red. If there are 2 active predators, there are not. There's no active predators, so that just goes into discard. Right, now we get our stuff back. Now we do the refresh. Draw a card. We get Eagle Eye again, which is nice. Okay, cool. Now this is really nice because engaging is really good to try and... I'm trying to get Tolin and I'm trying to connect with him. So I can use this to get 2 bonus speaking. However, if I use the tokens, then I'm not going to get them. Right. So with all this in mind, so we're starting a new... That's a refresh, so we take a token off of that. Then we have to draw a path card. I'm going to draw this one here, which is the Carbon Forge, as we can see here. So let's read number 56. Even outside the compound, you hear the muted roar of the Carbon Forge and the smell and the sharp tang of ozone. Once beyond the wall, you can see the squat, bulbous shape of the forge itself, a grey kiln larger than 3 wagons. As you watch, a trio of sweating artificers haul a series of heavy carved beams out of the forge's mouth, frames for a roof. Another rushes forward to shovel graphite shards into a small hatch to the side. Blue sparks flicker within, and your hair stands on end as the forge begins to reform the graphite into nano-assembled carbon items. Cool, so we've got a forge. We can spend focus and the triangle signal, which is a lot of stuff, to return a give. Ah, this is what I want. This is what I want. This is definitely what I want. Right. I want to get rid of my trail mix and bring in another... Yeah, I want to get rid of my trail mix. So the problem is I'm rubbish. I'm not even going to be able to get 2 unless I'm lucky with the draw. Interesting. This is an interesting decision. Right, let's try and befriend or connect with Tolin Lang. Let's do that. Sorry about it. I expend my awareness to use this moment. Scout 3 and then draw 1 path. So we're going to do it from the normal deck because we're trying to get a few prey. So we look at these 3. We've got some kelp weed, which is some flora. That's pretty cool. Tributary stream. That's an obstacle. So, oh, more muckets. Oh yeah, let's get some more muckets, definitely. So I'm actually going to put the obstacle on the bottom of the deck. I'm going to put that on the top of the deck. And I'm going to put this into play. So I've got lots of muscles to act as prey. Remember, that's what we need to do for the lure. I'm not getting any fatigue at the moment, which is pretty impressive. But we'll see. Now I have got space for the trail mix, but there's no point. So instead of that, I'm going to spend... I'm going to spend my focus to again try and draw some cards to remember. We get +1. Nice. So we get to scout 2 and draw 1. Field journals, good, because the heart and the thing. So I like that. I also like that. So I'm going to put that like so. And then I draw the field journal. So I do have this token now, which is quite important. Because I can fabricate. I haven't got any focus, so I'm not going to do it now. I also wanted to listen to this as well. Okay, cool. Happy with that. I think what I'm going to do is do a traverse. So first of all, I'm going to exhaust this, spend one of these, add to a trail. So that's now 2 of 4. And let's just get that done. So I get to add an additional 1 because it is a perfect day. That's a handy. If there's an active predator, there's not. And that's a traverse action done. And then awareness is no point. Spirit. I might as well have a go. I'll try and connect with this using... I'll just do it with 1. So spirit is 0, so that's 1. That's all I needed to get the 3. Suns, nothing to do. So let's read 61. Okay, so moving on to 61. Clear. 61.6. As you ask a few questions about Tony's work, he gradually pays less and less attention of his current work until he set down his tools and is engaged in a lively discussion with you. I've actually been asked by the elders of the Spire to install a work on Stoneweaver Bridge, something to commemorate its construction, you know? Anyway, I've created the design, but now I have to haul nearly 100 kilos of kinetic glass and materials there. He looks faintly abashed. I may have gotten carried away. Suddenly he brightens. Hey, you travel all over the valley, right? Could you help me take the sculpture to Stoneweaver Bridge? I bet it would be really easy if we had a boat. Maybe one of the ones Lynn Mirror makes out in Branch, but we could just carry the materials there too. I'm going to agree to help. So it says remove the progress, and then we put a mission. Bum, bum, bum. Helping hand. So we are now helping. Now, why this is important is because what it does is it adds persistence, which means when we travel, we don't have to get rid of it, which is really handy. But we're doing this mission at the moment, right? So that's all ready to go. We're going to help him with his glass. We're going to go and get a boat. That would be cool. We're also going to probably get a plane as well, possibly. I don't know, from that one. Right, that'll do. That's the end of the round. So reds, first of all, if there are 2 active predators, no. So what we do now is we finish the round. We're not traveling. We're choosing not to travel. So we're just going to rest. And then we refresh this one. We refresh these. Whoops. And we draw a card. And we know it's the reverb locket. Right, we also take 1 off this. And the weather changes from a perfect day to midday sun as we get to midday. And then when we refresh, we add stuff onto there. And we can also use that to get rid of fatigue as well. I think that's all she wrote. Awesome. Right, cool. That's all I wanted to show you. I just wanted to show a kind of a little bit of gameplay of Earthborne Rangers. I absolutely love this game. And I've not played it much. But I already see myself replaying this once I get to 30 days and then try a completely different method. Maybe try to scout as many locations as possible. This one, I'm just exploring each location I go to as fully as I can. And that's why I ran out of time, I guess. But yeah, that's Earthborne Rangers. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I'll do a little bit of playthrough again of this another time. So until next time, keep gaming.